Hi all, welcome to the sixth part in this series on how to create your own text editor in Go programming language. So in this video we'll implement a routine to actually insert a character into a text buffer. So let's scroll down to after the refile function ends, and here I want to create a new one called insert rune. And remember that we are capable of working with Unicode characters, so hence the name rune. Okay, this takes the event variable, and the type of this is dumbbox.event. The idea is that it's not taking the character or the rune directly, because sometimes keys like the space, for instance, or backspace, they're not generating the ASCII characters within the Dumbbox library, so they generate some other values. So we just pass the event here, and then we deal with the event depending on what the key has been pressed, if this is not an ASCII character related key. So hopefully that makes sense. So I create a variable called insert rune, and this is assigned dynamically. This is going to be equal to make. So I'm creating some memory, the type of rune, which is the type of the data that stores the current given row within the text buffer, and the length that I need is our text buffer indexed by the current row, but +1, because we want to insert one additional character into the line. Then we want to copy memory, so copying to the insert rune, sliced from the beginning and to where the current column position is. I want to copy whatever available in the text buffer for the current row, and the line sliced again from the beginning to where the current column is. So the idea is that, let's say my cursor is here, so whatever goes from the beginning and to the current cursor position is copied to the newly created variable insert rune. Then here at this index I would specify the character, and then after I want to copy the content of whatever goes from the cursor to the right. So hopefully that makes sense. And now we also need to distinguish like what happens depending on what kind of key we have. So I can say if event.key is equal to dumbbox.key space, because space is not handled as an ASCII character. So in this case we want to say that insert rune variable indexed by the current call should contain rune and the space. So we are artificially making space key behave as if it has been generating the ASCII character, although it's not doing so. But anyway, then else if event key is equal to dumbbox.key tab. In this case I want to do exactly the same thing. I want to say insert rune indexed by the current call. It's going to be equal rune space. So the reason for doing this is because I don't use tabs, so I'm not going to be bothered by rendering tabs in the buffer. If I want to input tab character, I can do this via executing a specific command. Well, this will be covered later, but for now all we want to do is just to replace tabs with spaces. So like that would be the hard-coded value, like for spaces when user presses tab. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is going to be hard-coded here. And otherwise what can happen is, so here I can say else that's the meta of the regular ASCII character being introduced. So whatever like letter user is pressing on a keyboard, in this case insert rune is going to be equal, yes, indexed by the current call, whatever is the rune event dot character. So this is quite important. So if the event of character is not equal to 0, which we've been covering already, if that is the case, in this case we want to insert the actual character to the line. And finally, last but not least, what we need to do is to replace the buffer row with the newly created one here with the insert rune. So insert rune is literally an alternative buffer row that already has the inserted character. So in order to do this, we simply need to say copy. Actually, we forgot to copy the right side. So once we've inserted the character at the given cursor position in the current column, we need to also copy the right part. So the right part of the existing buffer row. So insert rune indexed by current column +1, because we want to go one character further as opposed to the one we've just entered here. We want to populate with whatever is available within the text buffer indexed by the current row, and then the slice from where the current column is and to the very end. So we're not doing +1 here because there is no extra additional character in the original string. So hopefully that makes sense as well. And now finally, what we want to do, want to say text buffer indexed by the current row is now going to point to the insert rune, and we want to increment the current column by 1. And that's it. So now we want to call this function from within our handle keyboard function, process key press. So here, handle characters. So here we want to insert rune and key event, and don't forget to set the modify flag. So modified is equal to true. And now we go to the keys here. So case termbox dot key tab. So let's start with tab. Want to do the following thing. So we say if the mode is equal to 1, which means that we are in the insert mode, or in the edit mode, sorry. In this case, want to insert rune, and we are sending the key event like this, key event. And I'm sorry guys, here not the key event character, I'm sorry, we actually are sending the raw key event, because in the insert rune function we do distinguish between what kind of key has been pressed. And same, want the modified flag to be equal to true, but this would only insert the only character. So let's say for I is equal to 0, I is less than 4. So this 4 would replace the tab press with exactly 4 spaces. So you can alter this by 2 to get 2 spaces, or whatever number you want, and increment I, and here yeah, just inserting the rune with a key event. So hopefully this makes sense. And now for case termbox dot key space, we want to do the following. So something similar to what we've done to tabs, but without these for loop. So simply say again, if mode is equal to 1, we do insert rune the key event and the modified flag is equal to true. And yeah, let's probably wrap this a little bit. Okay, great. So if I did everything properly, this should now be able to actually insert characters. Yeah, but before that, we also need to deal with modes, because currently I'm not sure what is the mode. So by default the mode is, yes, set to 0. So nothing would happen, because this would only work in the edit mode. So we need to, well, let's actually add a couple more things here. So within our commands, so here we also need to handle the mode. So this only happens if mode is equal to 1, right? In this case we want to insert the rune. However, otherwise we want to use our keys as commands, and here we want to switch the key event char. So let's start by the queue. So this is queue. In this case we want to escape, so termbox dot close and os dot exit with a status code 0. We no longer need to do this here. So here actually we can say what we have to do. So escape sets the mode equals to 0, and to enter the edit mode I say case E, I say mode is equal to 1. So now we should be able to escape from the text editor by pressing the Q key. By pressing E we should be able to go from the view mode to the edit mode, and by pressing escape we should be able to set the mode back to 0, which means the view mode. Yeah, now hold my breath and try to compile run this. So build shell, and if it builds, run ego e.go. I'm sorry guys, yeah, obviously the length +1. And here is the typo. Yeah, and we are done. Yeah, fortunately. Okay, so now if say I go first, let's see, E goes to edit mode, escape goes back to view mode, Q escapes the editor, which is cool. So now if I'm in the view mode, I'm pressing keys, nothing is happening. But if I press E and I say press space, it works. A backspace not yet working. Press tab, it inputs 4 spaces, which is good. And now wherever I put the cursor and start typing, and actually starts inputting characters, which is just really good. So yeah, now let's quickly test this on Windows, and if everything works perfectly, we are done. So escape, quit. So I say wine task mgr, new task command line, and here I say ego.executable e.go, and nothing happens. So go into edit mode. Okay, we can do something. Tabs working. Yeah, everything seems to be working just nicely. So yeah, that's it from my side for this part, and I'll catch you up in the next one.